Welcome to this tutorial on Kubernetes storage classes. In this video, we'll explore how storage classes enable dynamic volume provisioning, making storage management in Kubernetes both automated and efficient. Storage classes are a powerful feature that allows you to automatically create persistent volumes on demand without manual intervention from cluster administrators. A storage class is a Kubernetes resource that defines the different types of storage available in your cluster. Think of it as a template that describes what kind of storage you want to use. Storage classes enable automatic creation of persistent volumes whenever they are requested by applications. This abstraction layer means your applications don't need to know the details of the underlying storage infrastructure, whether it's running on Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, or on-premises systems. Let's understand the difference between static and dynamic provisioning. With static provisioning, cluster administrators must manually create persistent volumes ahead of time. This means pre-provisioning storage in fixed capacity pools before anyone can use it. In contrast, dynamic provisioning automatically creates persistent volumes on demand as they are needed. This on-demand approach uses storage classes to define how volumes should be created, eliminating the manual overhead and providing much greater flexibility. Every storage class consists of 4 main components. First, the provisioner determines which volume plugin will be used to create the storage. Second, parameters provide configuration options specific to that provisioner, such as disk type or performance characteristics. Third, the reclaim policy defines what happens to a persistent volume when its associated persistent volume claim is deleted. Finally, volume binding mode controls when the volume should be provisioned and bound to a claim. Here's a practical example of a storage class definition. The API version is storage.k8s.io/v1, and the kind is storage class. We give it a name, in this case fast-storage. The provisioner field specifies kubernetes.io/os-ebs, which tells Kubernetes to use Amazon Elastic Block Store. Under parameters, we specify the volume type as GP3 and the file system type as ext4. The reclaim policy is set to delete, meaning the volume will be removed when no longer needed. The volume binding mode is set to wait for first consumer, which delays provisioning until a pod actually needs the storage. Different cloud providers and storage systems offer different provisioners. For Amazon Web Services Elastic Block Store, you use kubernetes.io/os-ebs. For Google Cloud Platform Persistent Disk, the provisioner is kubernetes.io/gce-pd. Azure Disk uses kubernetes.io/azure-disk. And for network file system storage, you can use k8s.io/nfs-subdir-external. Each provisioner has its own set of parameters and capabilities that match the underlying storage system. To use a storage class, you reference it in a persistent volume claim. Here's an example PVC manifest. The API version is v1 and the kind is persistent volume claim. Under the spec section, we specify the storage class name as fast-storage, which matches the storage class we created earlier. The access mode is read-write once, meaning the volume can be mounted as read-write by a single node. Finally, we request 10 GB of storage. When this PVC is created, Kubernetes automatically provisions a new persistent volume using the specified storage class. Let's walk through the complete dynamic provisioning workflow. In step 1, a user creates a persistent volume claim that specifies a storage class name. In step 2, Kubernetes searches for a storage class that matches the name provided in the claim. In step 3, the provisioner defined in the storage class automatically creates a new persistent volume with the requested characteristics. Finally, in step 4, the persistent volume claim binds to the newly created persistent volume, and the storage becomes available for use by pods. This entire process happens automatically without any manual intervention.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.